Good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time to join this webinar. If you haven't met me before, my name is Mark Fairburn. I'm the National Sales and Marketing Manager for Masterspec. And we're going to cover off a little bit today about mDocs. So mDocs is documentation delivered to you. So let's have a look at the current situation, what you've currently got, and how we're going to improve that for you. So we're going to look at today what it is, some of the key features for it, how does it work for you, what you need to do next, if anything, and when. And then we're going to have a little Q&A session, and I'm going to invite the rest of the team in as well. And you've got the opportunity to ask us some questions about the new features, etc. So let's have a look at what you've currently got. So in the current system, Masterspec NG2, you have two appendices that sit there. So you have your manufacturer's information and your contract appendix library as well. So that's all well and good. That information sits there. You've got the ability to upload to that. So how do you do that currently? Basically, you take a document name, which you make up at the time, and then you look for a particular file, one that you might have downloaded from the internet or from the manufacturer themselves, or even from your own file server. But then you also had to make sure it was inside a limit. So 4 meg upload and 20 meg against those two different work sections. So mDocs has greatly improved all of that. So let's have a look at how that works. So mDocs at its essence really is a preloaded set of technical content for you. It's now section indexed against the system. So if you download information into a project, that will have a relevant section indexed against it so that you can then put content into it. It allows you to review and evaluate that content on the fly very, very quickly rather than having to duck back and forth between different systems. So while you're actually in the specification, looking at that information, you can review and evaluate that content. You can also rate and review that content for the community as a whole. So it gives you the opportunity to be able to tell the rest of the community whether you think it's a great document. It also allows you to upload and create your own section content against particular work sections. So you have the freedom to do what you want, but still allow everybody else in your team to share with your knowledge. It also provides a little bit of version control. So now against particular work sections, particular content is loaded. If that particular content during that work section's development changes, the manufacturer can actually give you a hint that it's changed. So they can send you an alert and tell you that that content is now changed. And we can also do that by release date. So manufacturers can actually get the allocation date absolutely right for you. So there's some alert systems in there, and that will help reduce your risk. And it's now a multi-purpose technical document. Well, what do we mean by that? Well, actually, we do give the work sections or the particular content, the technical documentation, a purpose. And so we'll get into this later when we go to print something. But in effect, you can now create multiple documents by purpose. And that will become clear as to the advantages a little later. So we also still have the contract documents, and they're still available as a contract library. We removed the 4 meg upload limit for you, but we've also allowed you to create your own practice library, so you can reuse content and again share that with the rest of your team or with future projects. And administrators can also review and locate the content and how it's used. And we'll go into that in a bit more detail later. So let's just transfer over and have a look at how it works. So we'll just open a project here. And I've actually loaded some content in here. You can see I've just put some work sections in here randomly. And if we look at here now, it's slightly different. But if we look at the manufacturer's library, you'll note now that we have these headings. These headings relate exactly to your project headings. And against each of them, you can see the content that's been loaded. So this is a generic document, a generic specification, and so therefore there's nothing loaded against it. The one down here, we have 5 documents loaded against it. The next one, 43, the next one, 13. And you can see in here, I've been in here previously and loaded some documentation in here. So you can see under this index, I've got these 2 documents loaded. So how do we get content in there? That's actually really quick. So we'll just go and open this, and you'll see the flyout come through, and now it's giving us the information here. So I can review this document very quickly. I can open the next one, review that very quickly as well. I can attach the document, and I'll attach multiple documents here at the same time. I can review the document, as we said before. So we've given you a simple vote up, and every time someone puts a vote, obviously that's cumulative, and you can also review a document. So type your review in here. Just remember that that is available to the community, and then everybody can see the reviews as they go forward. You can also, if you want to, make your own comment or notes here when you download it, so that's also available to the team, so they can see that information against that particular work section. And I'm just going to finish that. So what if you've got a lot of documents and you've got a lot of searching to do? How do we speed that up for you? So I'm just going to open this work section here, and this has got a lot of documentation against it. We can actually search here, or filter I should say, by a name. So I can go and look at content in here. Again, I can review content. If that's appropriate, I can download it. We can also clear that filter, and we can check by its source. So we can save our information, or we can get our information from My Products. So these are My Products listings. I can attach that. I'll just move that out of the way. Or we can go by purpose. So we now give each document, or ask each document has a purpose. Performance, installation, maintenance information, warranty details, or environmental information. And again, if you're looking for the environmental content or the warranty content, you can search by that. So here's the warranty content, and I can upload that. Simple as. Okay, so we look through here and we have found the information, but we also want to give you the freedom to be able to upload your own content. So even against any of these work sections, say for the James Hardy section, maybe I'm looking for the information, I can't quite find what I need. What do I do? We're giving you a couple of options. You can contact the supplier by clicking on their logo, and this will take you through to their website where you can go and find that resource if you want to, and then download that content. Or you can request a document. So this request will send an email directly to that particular partner. And if you know the actual name of the document that you want, you could enter it here. If you're not quite sure, but you want to give a description of what it is, you can put it here, and also perhaps give it a purpose as to what you're looking for, whether it's warranty information or performance information, and then push submit, and it will go off to the manufacturer. They can then upload the document for everybody in the community to use at a later stage. So I want to upload a piece of documentation in here. So to the section, I can go here, upload. We can choose which of these we want to load it against. I'm going to load this document, and I'm going to load it against the structural, the James Hardy section. Now you have an option here. You can either share this to the organization as well. In other words, when anybody ever opens that particular work section again, they will also get this document as an option. Or you can do it as a one-off. So I'm just going to use this once, and therefore I'm going to only use it in this instance. I'm going to load it to my organization for demo purposes. We want you to give it a performance. You have to. So we're going to, purpose. So I'm going to say performance and installation. So you can do it multiple, and you can actually give it a document name. So and I'm going to put in a description, and I'm going to upload it. So against that particular work section, here it is, it's uploaded. But better than that, it's also here attached as from my organisation, and you can see the little icons along here give you an indication as to where it came from, whether it was my products, a supplier, or we uploaded it as our organisational document. Again, it's a simple click. We can review and we can detach or attach. So it's very easy to get content in there. So also there's a revision section. So in here we give you a little indication that this document has been replaced. So if you hover the warning, the alert will give you a reason, and it'll also give you the replacement document that you're looking for. So again, I might want to remove that, and then I can look for the particular document that we wanted before, and then I can reattach it. As simple as for versioning, so that should help reduce your risk a little bit as a practice. So that's the ability to actually put all this content in here. One of the real key factors is when you go to export the content now. It gives you so much more freedom. So if I go to export this content and I go to export the manufacturer's information, we now have an option around purpose. So for example, if I wanted to export a document for council, I might want the performance and installation details. And then I can basically select those and export. Let me just open that up for you so you can see the format has changed. It tells you what that document is for, depending on what you selected, obviously, performance and installation. It's all bookmarked for you. And I'll just go down in here, and there's hyperlinks put into the system. So these are the manufacturer's documents here. I can go and click on that document. You can see this is a performance and installation document, the one that I originally put in here. And we can see the document below. The bookmarking works nicely for you as well, so you can go and navigate around and here depending on what you want to look at. So let's go and do that again. Same document, but let's change that. So at the end of the job, we're looking for the maintenance information and the warranty information for CCC. We can then go and export that as well. Same document, a couple of different clicks, and we get a different result for the purpose or methodology that we're looking for. So I'm just going. Right, the contract appendix, let's just cover that off. So the contract appendix, this is information that you might need to send, obviously, with the contract, fire reports. Usually this is the kind of information that comes from other consultants, etc., that needs to go with the documentation. So you can go in here and upload. And again, it gives you the same option as it does under the manufacturer's technical library. You can also upload it to your organization if you want to, so if it's a reusable document or a document you want to use in the future. I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to select a file. I'm going to put in this brands appraisal randomly. I'm going to give it a title. And I'm going to give it a description. And I'm going to upload that. Very quick. And there it is against my project, TUI House, development specification, brands document. So there it is there. If I ever want it in the future, or anybody else in the practice wants it, it's here as well. So let's just have a look at some of the benefits around this. The benefit to you as a practice is it's going to speed up and increase your efficiency. It certainly help with your accuracy about getting the right content against the right work section. It should improve the consistency of the content because that content is available against the right work section and you're not going off to different sources all the time to find it. It also provides that alert that information has changed, so that should also improve some of your risk factor as well. It's also going to improve your output and format because you can do it in different methodologies now, and also the contact details of each manufacturer is against each work section, and they're nicely bookmarked for everybody. It's multi-purpose, so that document now can be used in a different methodology with a couple of clicks, and it also allows a little bit of feedback where you can vote up or notify people about what you think of a document, so everybody gets to benefit from your knowledge. So we've already done some work for you. We've actually preloaded a whole lot of information around the PTSs, so all the PTSs have been loaded against the work sections. We've preloaded the brands and the code mark information where appropriate against work sections. And manufacturers have been really busy in here over the last week or so loading up content. So they've already loaded over 700 technical documents in there. But we also want you to help them, tell them what you need. So use that functionality in there to help manufacturers give you the right content so we can help the whole industry get this right. So it's live from September. So first day of spring, September 1, Masterspec, you turn it on, you will see this new functionality. We'll obviously have more webinars around the space, but it's pretty intuitive and you should be able to use it from the get-go. If not, we've included it in our training, or you can come back to us and we'll talk you through it. We've also got some upcoming events. Unfortunately, the recent Build NZ event was cancelled, but it was, should say, postponed, but we will be there in November, and we've also got one coming up again for the ADNZ event here in Auckland, which we'll be attending as well. And we look forward to seeing you there and having a chat to you. That about covers it off for today. We didn't want to take up too much of your time or dive into too much detail, but we're happy to talk to you individually at any point if you want any more explanation. But I think what we'll do now, Emma, is we'll take the Q&A, and if anybody's got any questions that I've been typing through, if we can hand back to the guys, and we'll look after that for you.
Great, thanks, Mark. Right, so we have a few questions that have come up so far, and I think I'll point it in the direction of Jeremy and Yash today. So the first question that we had here is, does this allow you to always link the current brand's appraisals?
Thanks, Emma. Yes, it will do that. It'll alert you when there's been a change as well. Mark, do you want to just demo that for us?
Yeah, sure. So if someone wants to use the brand's information, if I'm going to select one here randomly, I'm not sure if it'll actually have the content in it, but let's go. So there's a brand's appraisal that's attached. So it depends typically that the manufacturer needs to attach the content that they want to show here. And so we've preloaded the brand's content because we know it exists. So it's there for you. If the manufacturer changes the brand's content, in other words, they get an update, they need to go in here and advise of that. That will then come through as that alert, which I showed you here before. So in effect, any update can be notified, and whether it's a brand's document, a maintenance document, or a warranty document, any of those can be updated and given you an alert to.
Perfect. Next question is, what is the time frame for manufacturers to upload a requested document?
Okay, thanks, Emma. Obviously, it's something we've been communicating to our product partners, and some of them have jumped all over it and have been really good at putting their documentation in there ready for use. And some will just take a little bit of prompting, or they're partway through, etc. So hence why we have been communicating with them prior to this point. and going forward from the 1st of spring, as Mark called it, you'll be able to use it. But what you'll see is it'll grow over time, because some people may not, some of the product partners may not have all of their documentation quite in the format that they want at this stage. So you may just have to bear with them, but tell them what you want in the request, etc., and that will prompt them to sort of hurry up a bit, I guess. Thanks, Emma.
Perfect. The next question would be, can you show me how to upload documents to manufacturer's information, which are not already in Masterspec?
Okay, I'll just go over that again. I might have gone over that a little quickly, but if effectively against any of the content here, you can upload. So the button at the top here, upload, you go and select your file. I'm going to choose something randomly here again, installation, and then select the work section. You'll notice this drop down is actually a reflection of what's in here. So I'm going to put this against the James Hardie rigid air barrier system. Again, you've got the choice here whether you think that it should be available to the rest of your organization, or you can just do it as a one-off, which I think most people will do. Just give it a purpose so that when you go to export it, you get the right documentation, and then give it a title. Again, this title would appear in the index of the document when you print it, so make sure that it makes sense, and give it a further description so that anybody else reading it understands what it is. I'm just going to put in content, and then I'm going to upload it. So you can see now that that's against the work section. We can see that it's a performance document. We can preview it. Or if we don't like it, we can remove it. And it's really quick to be able to upload and change information. So I think that covers that, Emma.
Perfect. The next question is, when I request a document from a supplier, will I be notified when the supplier has uploaded the new document, or will I have to check myself?
Yeah, you'll have to check yourself. It's something that we haven't built in into the system. We want this to be for the community. In effect, we want them to be able to see a definite need for it, and rather than a one-off situation, because they're making that document available not for you, but for the community of designers. So it's not a one-to-one relationship here. What you've actually got is the manufacturer being able to load content for everyone. So I wouldn't expect them to be loading content into the system that is specific to you or your requirements. It needs to be a requirement that the whole design industry needs, or the building industry needs going forward, rather than a one-to-one.
Thanks, Mark. Next question is there still total file size limit? And does the size slow the Masterspec file down?
There's some improvement in this space. It's basically in here, all the manufacturer's information here is free of size limit for you. So I don't know if you had a look in here, but when you do, you can actually see some quite chunky documents that have been loaded against information. So this one here, it's a one of one. Let's just open another one. So appraisal, pre-cladding. So here's a design manual, in fact, fire and acoustic design manual. So if I open that fire acoustic design manual, and this was a bit of a problem before. This document is 116 pages long. I can pretty quickly attach that, and I can, it's sitting in there very, very quickly because it's basically loaded against our server. This doesn't cost you any space in effect. So in here, the manufacturer's technical library, all that content, you can put as much as you like in there. Up against uploading documents, you'll notice there's an improved limit, but there's a 200 megabyte limit against the organization as a whole. or as a one-off, there's 20 megabytes here. And in here, you've got your contract documents. There again is a 20 megabyte limit here, but there's no limit on upload. And also you have the Office library as well, which you can attach content which is free of that library, of that limit of 20 meg. So greatly improved. But I think what you'll find is that the content that you're getting through here is what usually takes up the space. And I think you'll find that's greatly improved for you. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you. There's a few questions around the manufacturer's documents being locked. So here's one. Are the PDFs locked/secured? If so, Auckland Council won't accept these as they're unable to stamp them in an approved consent documentation. Or are the manufacturers removing their locks?
I'm not quite absolutely certain I've got an answer for that because I don't quite understand the question. So I might need to do some investigation. As in locked PDFs, they want to stamp them over the top. Yeah, whatever content is provided to us is how it will present. So I suggest that it will be locked if the manufacturer has it locked, but I'll have to double check and come back about that. Thanks, Emma.
All right, next question is, when you upload your own files, I guess that any update for those files is not caught by the system, so it would be a user check.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it currently works. So right now, you have to check the content that you're uploading against a work section or into your contract appendix or your manufacturer's information. And typically how that has been done in the past is you've downloaded that documentation and you've stuck it on a file server somewhere, or you've stuck it on your own machine, and in effect, you're just uploading that content and relying on yourself to check that that content is current. This system makes an improvement there, as in manufacturer's technical library. If the manufacturer advises that they've changed the document over, there it is. You can also use the review methodology to tell everybody else whether you think it's a current document as well. So there's a whole lots of methodologies in here that would never existed before about that, so that should improve the situation for you.
Great. We have a few other questions coming through, but I think we'll take one more. So the last question, I'm just trying to find one that many people are asking here. If there is a new file we need to update to the manufacturer's info, can we do it the same, just as how we upload a document to manufacturer's info?
So to the contract appendix?
I'll just reread the question. So if there is a new file we need to update to the manufacturer's information, can we do it just the same as we upload to the documents to the manufacturer's? I'm pretty sure yeah, it was contract appendix.
Yep. Yeah, so in effect, you've got the ability to upload to both. So you can upload here. But when you're uploading to the manufacturer's appendix, basically you need to pick a file. You need to give it a location. In other words, what am I going to load it against? And then you need to give it, obviously, its purpose, and away you go. The contract appendix, slightly different. Usually this document is something like a fire report or another consultant report or engineer's calculations, something that supports contractually the document set. It's not typically a universal document that might be provided by a manufacturer. It's usually something that's bespoke. That way you can upload it yourself. Here you would select the title or whatever it is. I'll select one randomly. You can, if you think it's appropriate, you can load it to your organization because it might be used again or in multiple situations. That might be useful if you're, I don't know, if you've got a group home builder who might want to load the same documentation against a set of designs, so that might be useful. Typically though, it'll be one-off, and then you'll give it a document title and a description and upload it. So yes, you can upload to both of them, but this one here is going to save you a heap of time, space and effort by being able to review, add, delete and put content in, which would usually take hours and hours to do. Thanks, Em.
Can I just jump in there? Sorry, Emma.
Yeah.
We just got another question come in, and I'll we've answered it, but I'll answer it for the group. And essentially, it is what effect will this have on current specifications being worked on? So essentially, if you start a new project or you have a project that doesn't have any current appendix options in it, it will swing to the new version. If you've already started to download to an existing project, then it'll stay in the old format. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. So no change to your current documents if you've already got content in there, so it won't affect that. If you wanted to, I actually tested this the other day, and you only have one document in there and you really desperately want to use the new system, remove that document and then just refresh the screen and it'll come up with a new format. Then you can reload the document again if you're that keen on using the new system. In effect, you've got exactly the same ability to do what you've always done, so there's no change. If you want to carry on doing it always as you've done before by uploading documents individually, both to the contract appendix and to the manufacturer's documents, what we have done is added a whole lot more functionality for you, and not only how you get the content, but also how you can export the content and use it. Thanks, Em.
Great. So anybody's questions that we haven't reached today, we'll be in touch with. But thanks everyone for coming, and that wraps up our Q&A.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to talking to you out and about in the trade when we get over some more of this COVID levels down to 2 and 1, and hopefully we'll catch up with you shortly. Please feel free to contact us either via email or by phone, or seeing us at one of the local events. We'd love to talk to you, and would love to hear what your thoughts are on mDocs and its development as it goes forward. Thank you.